Yeah, hi David. I thought it might be helpful if, just for our conversations, if I just go over and give you a bit of a refresher on what my machine's doing here. So this is the machine. Let's have a closer look at it. So I have doors on the cage here with interlocking switches here, which automatically cut the power to the high voltage if I open the doors. So that's a bit of a safety mechanism there. Now over here I have a sample cylinder which is originally was 75 liters of compressed deuterium. I've had it for 10 years. It still seems to have plenty of pressure in it, so that's all right. I've got a single dial regulator on the deuterium, and this goes into swage lock tube. I think it's an 1/8 of an inch or something, and into this thing here, which is an MKS pressure controller. So it's not a mass flow controller, it's actually a pressure controller. So you, from the remote lab view, I can adjust the pressure and set it to 2 or 3 microns, and it'll just stay steady at that pressure. The tube goes out the back there, the output, and goes up around the back here to a single ball valve, again swage lock fitting, and it goes up here to an NW25 fitting, which I think you can see, and that's been welded. That little swage lock fitting, you might be able to see it if I turn around there, that's welded into that. Okay, the big grey thing here, that's the 50 kilovolt Zener diode. So the input, the high voltage input, is at the top, and it goes right through all the diodes and comes out the bottom here, and here's just a simple, like a banana plug that goes from here and to the back here. It goes to ground, but it goes via a 1 kilo ohm resistor, and I measure across that resistor. I can measure the output current, and that's also logged in LabVIEW. So how can I explain this? And at the back here I have the load resistor. So that's the high voltage coming in at the top. That comes from, if I go around the back here, you'll see it more clearly. So the high voltage goes in the top and comes from the power supply, the back of the power supply under here. All right, so the high voltage goes through the load resistor, and then it diverts. So if I come around here again, I'm sorry about this messy video, but it comes out here at the bottom. You can see there's 2 leads coming out from the load resistor, and they go into the disc here, into this layer, and this layer up here, and then it goes back to the Zener, or back to ground, via the lead that comes out of the cathode, the middle here. Okay, and then we have these end pieces in the double-ended chamber. They're both grounded. So I hope that makes sense. All right, we've got ground at both ends. We've got the, what I call the drain in the middle, and then the 2 discs on either side are the source. Okay, so the drain goes to the Zener diode, and the source goes to the high voltage at the back there. All right, underneath here I have the 125 kilovolt power supply. Okay, that's operated from LabVIEW. I got the vacuum pump controller. At the bottom here we have a rotary vane pump, a JVac rotary vane pump, and that goes to a Varian turbo pump. And then we have a big gate valve with a manual handle, and that goes into a ISO 100 flange and another ISO 100 flange, which has a welded tube that goes up to the NW25s. All right, so this big gate valve is something I bought on eBay. I trust that it's okay and it's not leaking, and I throttle that back. When I'm running the Fusor, I throttle it right back so that the pressure just stays at about less than a micron. Underneath the power supply is that new box I built, and here we have two cordless drill batteries, which is running the National Instruments data acquisition module, the fiber optic USB, and a GS USB Pro, which is then connected to a neutron detector. The yellow cable you can see here, this is the fiber optic cable. It's 10 meters, so I can take it into the living room when I'm operating the machine. It goes here to the fiber optic to USB, and then into the computer, and here's the LabVIEW console where I can see the different dials which is happening on the screen. And I have multiple tabs here, so I can see the neutron detection here on this panel here, and I can see some graphs on the last page. So I've got pretty good control of the system when I'm operating remotely. Here on the side I have a neutron detector. This is a helium-3 tube with a moderator. You can see the tube is sitting in there.